Right, well, good afternoon everybody. I've finally managed to get up here for hopefully a couple hours this afternoon. I've managed to see the missus, she's feeling a wee bit better today, so I'm hoping all's going to be well with her. As I say, I managed to get up today for a couple hours. But, at the moment the sun is blasting out, but it's one of the main things I want to talk about today, because a lot of people seem to be getting put off by just that little bit of sunshine. It's only mid-April. You've got lots of time yet, loads of time for planting out and whatnot. People asking online about is it too early to plant this out, too early to plant out. You know, it all depends on your situation. Depends on where you are in the country. Up here in the northeast, we never plant out until at least the beginning of May. It's just a few little pointers I'll give you today about getting ready, getting your plants ready, hardening them off, just trying to get them ready for before you put them outside, and it gives them that little bit of edge. Feeling a little bit scruffy because I haven't had a haircut for a few weeks, but that's the least of my worries. If you remember, a week ago I was talking about bringing the hillbilly up here, and of course that's the hillbilly Tums. Absolutely marvellous, first class. And this is just a cold greenhouse, by the way. This is a 100-foot greenhouse. It's just a double layer of polythene inside, but it's completely cold, and the smell of them is absolutely amazing. I just love it this time of year. And of course the hillbilly, I've got 5 here, and I've got 5 on a smaller size down home, which I'm going to put them along this bed here. I've got a main bench here that I work from, but I'll clear this top bench, and I'll probably get about 10 hillbilly on here. The reason I want to put the hillbilly on here for is because when I grew them last year, they were a fantastic cropper, really massive big Tums, really ginormous, a lovely red with a yellow stripe on, a bit like a tiger, one of the older varieties. But what I'm going to do with the hillbilly, I'm going to put them along here. There's not much room here, not much headroom by the time you put your pot on, your plastic pot. So what I'm thinking here is, especially for these varieties, is just flower them up and let them go to 3 trusses. After 3 trusses, I'll nip them out. I know you might think that's a waste, but to me it's not, because the size of these tomatoes, the trusses, they get really big. So if I can get 2 or 3 Tums to a truss at the size that they were last year in there, I'll be over the moon. If I get 3 trusses like that, I don't want to stretch a plant any more than that. If I can get 3 trusses per plant, a nice big Tum on, I'll be well pleased. But that's the hillbilly. I've got Corfu in the bigger tunnel in there, and of course Roger's been prepping the first tunnel. We'll pop in, we'll have a look before we go off down home, and I'll finish a video off down home. Because once again, a lot of people are asking about putting tomatoes on, and it's quite an easy job. I leave my plants as long as I can in the trays. You know me by now. I just there's for instance, this is a tray of dahlia. Now a lot of people would say, oh, they should have been potted off weeks ago. Not likely. They're stopping there for another week, and all I do is I just work my way through them. Once again, learn your weeds from your seeds. That's a little dot in there. You know your dahlias by now, or you should do. What they look like. A bit of grimsel growing through there. And of course this is my own potting mix, so you're bound to get some weeds growing in amongst it. You always get a bit of grass in. There's another dot in there at the back there that can come out. Let's throw them out. Now by next week, hopefully, I'll be able to pull on that and the whole thing should just lift. The whole root ball in the tray. And that's when I like to pot mine off. But of course I'll show you that in next week's vid. There's quite a few trays of plants that I'm getting lined up for potting up. But as I say, I'm never in a hurry to put up. I just like to take my time. There's one tray I just did beginning of the week, celery. I've never grew celery for a few years, so I thought this year I'd give it a bash and just see what. Because the wife likes a bit of celery, and it's good for cooking and for stew. So that's a tray I potted up last week, and they're just sitting up here in a cold greenhouse, which is fine. Now up here we're getting a westerly wind, we're getting the easterly wind I should say, and it's coming off the North Sea and it's absolutely freezing. When you're in the sunshine it's a different story altogether. So when you're in your greenhouses, and your temperature can shoot up by at least 10 to 15 degrees, no problem, with a bit of sunshine on. I'm standing here and it's 80 in here, a cold greenhouse with that sunshine on the roof. And down home it's exactly the same. It was 95. I went downstairs at 10 o'clock in the morning to open the greenhouse door up, and the sun had just started eclipsing the top of the roof. It was 85 in the cold greenhouse. No heat on whatsoever. So bang, door goes wide open to the wall. Let the fresh air in, because you need that. Once you start getting too high temperatures, and that's when your pests, and that's when your viruses build up. If you haven't got a nice clean atmosphere, plenty of fresh air, keep the air moving around it, and you should be okay. Now these tomatoes I've just brought up last night. These are the giant orange. Once again, I've got some bigger ones in them down home. What I might do in my home greenhouse is put a couple of the giant orange in. Now I'm going to treat these exactly the same as what I do with the hillbilly, because they were massive. They started off yellow, nice yellow tom, but by the time they matured, it turned a lovely dark rich orange, and I was over the moon with them. I cannot for the life of us think where I got them from. I don't know if I got them sent up from somebody or whether I got a packet sent from someone, but I was amazed with them. Really first class tomato, and nice and tasty. So once again, giant orange is on my list. I've got the hillbilly, I've got the Corfu, which I got from Mike Street. Thanks again, Mike. I hope you got the seeds, and I hope they're growing away well. Mike had a bit of trouble germinating his first lot, but I sent him some down, so I'm hoping they've done a trick. Germinating seeds is the easiest time of the year. You've got the heat. Just don't overwater. That's one of the main problems. You're going to lose your seedlings. Don't overwater, and try and get as much ventilation to your seedlings as you can. As I say, you'll start losing them left, right and centre if you're not careful. But as far as potting off goes, I'm quite happy just let them sit in for another week or two, and then I'll put them into the little cardboard cups in the bottom polytunnel, in the trays, and they can sit there for another 3 weeks at least. As I say, it's only in the middle of April. We don't plant dahlias out up here until at least the middle of May, going on towards the first week in June. So I've got another 4 or 5 weeks yet before I even think about putting them out. So once again, timing is everything. Get your timing right, you'll be spot on. I will never planted them till beginning of March. Go back on my videos and you'll see how I broadcasted the dahlia seed. I've seen people with dahlias, monsters, in pots like that. There's no way they're going to get them outside for another couple of weeks yet. And then what's happening, they're going to be pot bound, and you're going to have to move on and move on. It's not so bad with smaller plants, you can keep an eye on them. But once they start getting too big and they get pot bound, that's when you run into troubles. So just be wary of that. As I say, get your timing right. I always keep saying that, if you get your timing right, sow your seed at the proper time, when you want your crops for, and when you want to put them outside, and you should be fine. You should be spot on. And that's half a battle if you can get that right. I'm just going to whip this around. Now here, the 100-foot greenhouse, you'll probably be able to notice now I'm a bit disappointed with the Winston potatoes, because I thought, I haven't grown them for a few years. I did grow them a couple of years ago, but judging by these compared to the Jaziri in the other tunnel, or the Jazzy are about 5 weeks ahead of them, yet we planted them exactly the same time. What I'm thinking is this bed is really dry. It had a lot of humus in it over the years, for tomatoes and whatnot. Now we've given it a rest this year because I wanted to put the early tedies in, and I think that's what's happened. On the other hand, we don't have any weepy hoses on here, so everything's getting watered by hand or watered by the hose, and I think that's where the problem is. We haven't got enough moisture in there. And of course, one other thing is, on the sides of the 100-foot greenhouse where I've got my roof, there's gaps in between, and I don't take a polythene right down off the roof onto the front. I leave a little bit of butter that's outside to let the fresh air through. So that means that when it's cold, it's going to be cold in here, whereas the tunnel is completely enclosed. You get a little bit of sunshine on the polytunnel, and whack, them temperatures are just going to romp away. And I think that's the only difference. The grapevine in here is just romping away. That's only 2 years old. I've got a little bit of work to do in there. I've got to start training this one, and this one's going to be trained along here on this wire here. so we can start training that. We'll have to do a bit of cutting on it. But a great vine up there to show you, the one I planted last year. So we'll do a little bit of work on that one, and I'll just turn the camera towards here. Oh, these are some of the geraniums I saved from last year. Well, it's an easy enough job to do. If you've got a greenhouse, just a cold greenhouse, just make sure they don't get too wet over the winter, and they'll grow away fine. Oh, it's an absolutely beauty. I've got 3 or 4 of them pinks, sort of pink ones, absolutely beautiful. A little bit of weed growing in amongst them, of course, as I say, once again, it's my own compost this, and these have just been sitting in a cold greenhouse over the winter. When I dug them out of the pots last year, tidied them up a bit, put in some fresh compost, and they just sat in there in the cold greenhouse, and absolutely fantastic. I'll take them home and plant them out now, they'll be great. Once again, here we are. That's a tray full of the pot marigold. Absolutely marvellous. Lots of grass growing in this one, so as I say, just go along. Nettles, pull them out, and there's a first class. Now these, they'll not get thrown out the same as the dahlias. I'll just take the dahlias out and break them up. What I'll do is I'll do exactly the same, but I'll put these into single pots, because these are an absolute fantastic flower for the garden, pot marigold, and they're brilliant for bringing down the bugs and the insects, especially hoverflies, stuff like that you need in your greenhouses. The marigolds. Now normally I'm potting off round about the middle of April. I'm not too far away this year. These are they're looking pretty good though. Once again, they'll not be potted off singly, no way. What I'll do is, I'll show you how I've done mine last year. I take the whole tree out and I break the tree full into little bunches, 2 and 3 plants per bunch, and pot them up into a single pot, and they'll be spot on for the middle of May. 4 weeks away, 5 weeks away, no problem. So that's all the work to start on this week. That's all the potting off this week. Lobelia, geraniums, petunias, all them, fuchsias, all done in the far tunnel. I had been in the melon house where it's a little bit warmer, and of course what we did last week, we transferred everything out of the melon house into the tunnel just to start chilling it down, and it's worked wonders. The plants in there is looking first class. We'll remove them. Delphiniums that were planted at the beginning of the year, the January, we sowed the end of January we sowed the delphiniums, and absolute stonking plants. Now they'll be ready to go out in about a fortnight's time. Beautiful. We'll leave them there. And the place is full of pot leeks. All got to be sorted out. But onions are up on the top there. There's absolutely tons of onions. And if I can get one of them trays down. They're right up on the top there. And of course they get full advantage to the right, and there's the big onions. I just gave them a good soaking last night. Now they're spot on there. The roots are just starting to come through there. Now normally you can pot these on if you wanted into a bigger pot, but I think if I leave these in for another fortnight, they'll be fine. And that gives it till end of April, beginning of May, and it should be okay for starting just a plant out. They're just an ordinary onion, a Spanish onion. And you'll get a decent sized onion out of these. Just singly sown. I think I sowed these at the beginning of February. But they're doing fine. I won't remove them. But we'll go up to the top greenhouse, top end, and we can get started on having a look at some of these brassicas ready to go outside, okay? Right, that's it. Well, it's a little bit better up here because I've got the door actually wide open up here. In the top of the 100-foot greenhouse, I've opened these. I've got double doors up on here that I can open up, and I'm setting some fresh air. Absolutely fantastic. I'm over the moon. Now, there's a job I want to get done this afternoon. Now, I've cheated a little bit with these because I want to get an early bloom out of these. If you remember earlier on, I started taking chrysanthemum cuttings. Now, I took what I wanted. And I've got quite a few wood, and then the stools, what I normally do, I normally just throw the stools out, but I noticed a couple of nice because I had left these lying in, I'd noticed a couple of nice shoots coming away from them. So what I did, I cleaned the stool down completely. I've got a little bit of stool there. I'm going to nip that off with the scissors for a with a pair of secateurs so I can get my hands on it. Just to clean the stool off, and I'm going to top the compost up to about an inch from below the pot. This is Yellow John Wingfield, absolutely stonker, lovely reflex, beautiful. So I'm going to top the pot up to just an inch below the pot with some nice fresh compost that I've been up down home, and then I'm going to put a new bamboo in there. I'm going to tie that to the bamboo, and that's just about ready for stopping. That's the size you want your plants when you start nipping your tops out. And the reason being, to nip the tops out, throw side shoots out, and you get 2 or 3 heads, whatever you want, flowers grown up, and you get a first class plant. So I'm going to keep these stools once again. There's another nice one there. That's a John Wingfield, that one, that's a yellow. Yeah, that's the orange, I should say, and that one's a yellow. So I've got both the Wingfields. Well, it's exactly the same. Just the one. There is a tiny little bit of white fly I've noticed on a couple of the leaves. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm up here, is get a couple of garlics. I've got some old garlic heads in there. I'm going to take them down home and make a garlic spray up. Now, a few people are asking about the other week. Now, when I make the garlic spray up, it'll not kill the plants, it'll not kill the insects, it'll not kill the bugs. What it is that it's a preventive, and that's why I use it. Once it's on, don't forget to add your washing up liquid. The reason being is you put a good bit of washing up liquid in your garlic spray, and you spray something like that, a chrysanthemum plant, and it actually adheres to the whole plant. The soapy water helps the garlic spray stick to it, and that's what keeps the bugs away. Because once the bugs get on there and they start munching away on there, and if you've already sprayed it with the garlic, poof, they're going to be away like clappers, and that's going to protect your plants. It's a preventive, not a killer. I'm not killing the insects, but preventing them from eating it. As I say, I've got some really lovely stools on there, so I'm going to keep them for this year. As a rule, I don't bother keeping the second year stools. I'm going to try them for an early one, and I might plant these out in the bottom tunnel. We've got a little square patch in front of the grapevine, and I might plant the hoppers in there and see if we can get some nice early flowers for the house. Right, so as I say, brassica as well. You know, when I put my brassicas up there, and there they are, absolutely fantastic. Beautiful, strong little plants, and the roots are just about hitting the bottom there, but there's no way I'm going to be planting these out, not for a while yet. Chill them down. If you've got a cold frame, if you haven't got a cold frame, don't worry. Bring them out of the greenhouse, stand them outside in the sunshine through the day, bring them back every evening when it gets cold. And doing that for at least a week or a fortnight, it acclimatises, gets your plants ready for the shock that they're going to get once they get outside, because the temperatures are going to be completely different from inside to outside. So what I like to do with mine, when they come out of the polytunnel, I bring them up here, as I say, up in the 100-foot greenhouse. There's loads of fresh air, the doors are open, and they get chilled down. Now these have been here for a week now, and they're absolutely lovely. Nice colour. So what's going to happen now is, I'll take it across and I'm going to put them on the bed, on the outside bed. All it is a bit of plastic over the top of it, but they're going to get some netting at the back, stopping from them cold winds blowing up, and they're going to sit there for at least a fortnight. That's a greyhound. Now that is the filter kraut. That's it, the big German cabbage. They're a little bit dry, but I'm not worried about that, because once I get them on the benches, I can check them over and I can give them a good watering. Now where's my Maximus? Now I might leave these inside. I know the roots are nearly touching the bottom. They're looking a little bit smaller then, but I'm not worried about that, because they'll sit on the bench for at least 3 weeks. I'll be over the moon with them. As I say, all I need to do out of there, out of that 24, is to pick a good dozen or a dozen and a half. I'll be quite happy. We'll take a tray full of them over, and we'll put them on the on the beds outside where it's nice and cool. I've got sweet peas in here. I've got there's more cabbage here. They are going to have to go outside and sit on the bench. They're a little bit dry there, but once they've had a good watering, and they acclimatise themselves outside to the outside weather, then they'll be fine. Now there's my grapevine. I need to do some work on this. If you remember last year, I potted this up. Potted this up, and it's really busted into growth. There was a single stem there. I'm quite happy with that. But what I'm going to have to do is to put some. I can't put that up because of the cane. Is to put some structures on. I'm going to have to put some cross pieces over here. Open it up so it doesn't get entangled in, and then start giving it a light feeding. It's had no feeding whatsoever over the winter. The only thing it did have was a little bit of sulphate of potash in February. Same time as when I did the raspberries. Just sprinkle a little bit of sulphate of potash on them. You know, it's going to be well watered every other day now for the next couple of weeks. As I say, it's in bud, so I'm hoping to get a couple of little bunches of grapes off that this year. When we go in the bottom polytunnel, I'll show you the peach tree. I only planted it last year, and already we've got some fantastic little peaches on there. Over the moon with that one. So we've been there looking at that one properly. What we'll do, we'll go over on the bench, we'll house some of these brassicas on the bench, and I'll show you the bottom polytunnel before we're not off. Right, well here we are. See, outside bench, absolutely fantastic. These photographs, I brought these out a week ago. Now they've been sitting outside here. First class. And that's where we like to grow our hardy annuals. Nice little plug plants like that, or pots, just little cups, and they'll be fantastic for planting out. This is the last of the spring ones. I'm just waiting for the brother-in-law to come and pick these up, and of course they're forget-me-nots. They grew in September last year, and they're fantastic little plants, just coming into bloom there. Nice little pinks and whites, absolutely beautiful. The early sowing of pot marigolds that we did, well, they're absolutely rampant away them. So they can go in the garden now. They've been outside here for a couple of weeks. They can go in the garden now, and they'll be flowering within a couple of weeks. Absolutely marvellous. Right, so what we did, this one I brought out a week ago. Now this has been sitting, I think this is greyhound. I should have the marker on somewhere, I'll have a look. I'm sure this is a greyhound. It's a Duncan, sorry. This is a Duncan. It's a lovely little early cabbage, a little pointed, but it's absolutely fantastic. I love growing a Duncan. You can grow the Duncan inside for a spring cabbage, or you can grow them outside for a summer cabbage. Really versatile, fantastic. Now as I say, these have been out for a week now, and as you can see, the pots, the roots, is completely filled. Now I don't mind leaving these for at least another week, 2 weeks. Let a pot get really full of root, and then when we do the next video, when I start planting out, we'll get some rhubarb. This rhubarb and cabbage go together great. If you've got club root, I'll show you a couple of little tips that'll help you out with your planting. So that'll be in a fortnight's time in the video. They'll be the first ones to go out. As I say, the greyhound and the filter crow that's inside there, they've come out now today. I bring them outside here on the bench here and I can get everything watered all in one go. I've got a few bits and pieces left down there at the bottom, some plants off last year, but they'll all be going within the next week, because what I really want to do is to get these beds cleared, because the summer bedding is going to be starting in about a fortnight's time. What we've done, we've been bringing it out of the warm tunnel into the cold tunnel. We've sat in there for a week. They're lovely, first class looking plants. The lobelia, that's great. All been potted up into that trays, so they're sitting there for another week, and then next week I'm going to bring them out, so I want plenty of room on these benches. And that gives me more or less the end of April. I'll be over the moon with that. Get them out here and they'll sit there for a good 2 to 3 weeks, which gives you the middle of May. And that's perfect for planting out for us up north. Once again, it's all about timing. Get your timing right and it should be spot on. But I'm going to pop in the bottom polytunnel and I'll show you how we've been getting on in there. Right, well I hope that sunshine's not going to be too much of a bother. As I say, the sun's getting up there now, it's absolutely fantastic, but if you'd probably be able to hear in here in the polytunnel at the movement. That's the wind coming off the east coast. Now, we're only 3 miles from the coast here, so we're getting them cold winds blowing off the North Sea, and it really is freezing. So that's it. That's the difference up here. Oh, this is one of the jobs I just love doing, and of course it's getting your crops. Now, speaking before about the garlic spray, I did tell you the only thing they had was a couple of garlic sprays from planting out in September. Go through on the old videos and you'll find out from planting out in September. I give them a good soaking. What they also had is a little bit of nettle juice. Now I'll probably start that in the next video. The nettles are just starting to come through down home where I collect a lot of mine. So what I might do, I may start my new video off next week down home, out the back, and start with the nettles, and we'll start making them a nettle juice. Now nettles is fantastic for nitrogen, and what these got in September, once they were rooted, you just had a good spraying with garlic spray, and then a good drink of nettle juice, and that's all I had. The soil was perfect, it was turned over, ready, limed, and now we're going to do exactly the same thing once these come out, because these are the cleaners in your garden, the cabbages. These take out all the excess salts that's in the land, all the excess chemicals, take everything up, and they give you a first class crop. That's why I never have to wash any of my beds out. But I've got about 3 or 4 cabbages for friends and family to take up this afternoon. Well, this is right down this main line here. And what we'll do is we'll put on this rope here, we'll put our first line of canes down here, because I have got 15 core fruit tomatoes in the next tunnel, and they're up on the top bench, nicely chilled off. Now these doors are open all day long now. This has been wedged back so it doesn't shut in the wind. The bottom one's got mesh on, so it's open all day. And all I have is a cover. Now in here we'll be putting our main crop tomatoes. As I say, I never like to have too much heat from my tomatoes, so I'm going to be starting next week with the core fruit tomatoes. We'll put the stakes in, get all the canes ready. We'll have to get the last of these cabbages out just on this line. There's 2 more lines over there, but we can work our way back. Once the giant orange are ready, I can get a line of there. Once the money maker are ready, I can get another line at the back. They're not all going at once, I'll just in stages, maybe only a week or 2 apart. They will catch up, because tomatoes do, once they're in the soil, once they get their feet in the soil, then they're well fed, and they'll romp away. Now all the soil's getting is a good mucking. And what I'll do is I'll put the probe in this week before I do the tomatoes. I'll put the probe in and I get a reading, and I want my reading to be around about 5.5, between 5.5 and 7, which is perfect for tomatoes. Never go any higher than 7. If it's too high, I'll have to bring it back down. A bit of potash, the newer, plenty of urine soaked straw, that'll bring it down. If it's too low, good handful of lime on it, it'll bring it up. So you know, if you can get your numbers around about the 5 and 7, but in between that, you're spot on. Cabbages you can go right down to 5, 4.5 to 5, no problem. The cabbages love that, but they grow really well. Just one little quick tip before I go off. When I pull the roots out, don't beat the hell out of them to knock every square inch of soil off the roots. I always like to leave a good, and I keep telling Roger this, I always like to leave a good bit of soil on the roots. Simple being, you've got all them microbes in the soil, all the good bacteria, all in the soil. So where these are going now, yep, they're going straight in the compost bin. You're adding that little bit of soil, you're adding them microbes, and you're adding the bacteria. And it's all helping the rot down. And at the end of the year, you get a first class binful of good black homemade compost, which you can go straight back in your land. Or be like me, use the fair mixers. I might do I've been mixing, excuse me, I've been mixing crazy for the last 3 weeks. Every day I'm coming up with bagfuls of peat, bagfuls of homemade compost, sand, perlite, bone meal. Make all your own mixes up. As I say, if you go back on the old, some of the old videos, you'll see the mix I make it up every time. Never changes. Well happy with it. I've used it for years, and as I say, I get some fantastic plants from it. From potting off stage, even from seedlings from the dahlias, just my own potting mix. but I get some great results. I'm over the strawberries. I had a few failures. The Albion that I ordered, I wasn't happy with them at all. But I'm going to persevere with them. I think we've lost about, I think there's a couple down that side and there's a couple on this side. Well, that basket there, it's just full of weed. But I think we lost about 6 or 7 of the Albion. But no worries, the rest are coming on great. But I want to show you these ones. And of course, these are the Colossus in the pots. Once again, these are my own cuttings off last year. And of course, there's the flowers. And that's what I keep saying to people. If you want these pollinated, get your doors open. Get your flowers. If you've got pot marigolds, put a few flowers in. That brings all the bugs down. And it's going to give you, get your plants well pollinated. So we're looking at that one. There's a nice little strawberry on there. I'm over the moon with that. And this is a Colossus. All you'll get now is a good cleaning up. I'll give them a garlic spray before the fruits get any bigger. Once again, as I say, I'll have to make a couple of mixes up this week. I'll make a garlic spray up, get these a good soaking. Don't forget your soap though. A good soaking, and that'll stop any bugs getting on there and start munching away. And then we'll start on a feeding program in a fortnight's time. The little fruits on there now, so this is the right time to start feeding your fruits. Never feed them too early. All he's got, if you remember in February, they've got a sprinkling sulphur of potash for the roots. When the plants start emerging, they're green, and I had that little bit of feed just to boost them up. Just go around, pick your weeds off, and I'm looking forward to these. I'm going to get first, because we only got one plant of Dave Shaw last year, and the strawberries were absolutely massive. Now this is a cutting from the parent plant. I've got 5 Colossus, and I've got about 12 of the Senga Giganta. But the Senga Giganta are sitting outside of the bench. They've never moved. They've been outside all the winter, and they're getting a nice, short, sturdy crop of greens coming on the top there. And that's it. They're not leggy, anything. These are a little bit taller because they've been brought up in a cold greenhouse here. No heat whatsoever, just a cold polytunnel over the winter, and that's the difference. So I'm going to get an early crop out of these, and we'll get a later crop out of the Senga, and hopefully we should get a decent crop out of these ones. But I've got some nice plants, so what I'll be doing with these, I'll be taking my own runners, and the way I like to grow my strawberries, we should get some first class plants for next year. Oh, so look at the airhead. I'll put that one back. As you see, I'm well chuffed with them. It's absolutely packed out down there with plants. As you see, all the beddings down there. I've got lettuces, I've got the beetroots, the turnips, so on. I'm going to have to water all of them, so I'm going to have to get cracking. I'm going to have to spend a good hour now just watering down. Thankfully, all my plants are on trays, so I can just water the trays, and they'll take it all up from down below. Once again, if you can water from down below, it's the best way to do it. There's no moisture gets on top of the plant, especially if you've got sunshine like today. You try watering your plant down, you're going to scald them, you're going to burn them. So water from from underneath. I know a lot of people go up the plot of the afternoon, and that's the only time they might have, so they have to do their watering, like me. So that's why I've got the trays set out. Plenty of water in the trays, newspaper, and me plants can just sit in there and they can just soak up what water they need. Over the moon with that. Right, so I think I've been just about everywhere, apart from the big greenhouse. I'll show you a quick look in there, quick 5 minutes, and I'll show you what I meant about the potatoes. And then we'll get myself away down home, and I'll finish this video off down home when I'm potting some of these tomatoes up, okay? Right, here we are, first tunnel. Oh, and I'm absolutely over the moon with that. This is a peach tree. And of course I only planted this last year, and already I've got some lovely little fruits on there. I was just looking at them last night. I noticed where the blossom had been, and some lovely little peaches on there. I'm over the moon with that, so I'm going to start feeding this now. Once again, all this tree's had is a good feed of sulphate of potash in the springtime. I've had half a bag of horse manure put around it, keep the roots nice and clean. But already it's thicker root, thicker weed. There's grass growing there, there's grimsel growing there. So I'm going to get that cleaned out this afternoon, and I'm going to start putting a bucket of water every other day on this tree to keep them roots nice and cool, and plenty of moisture. But these side shoots, I think I'll leave the side shoots until the June drop. once the June drop comes and it sheds any excess fruit that you've got on there, and that's when I'll start my cutting. I'll cut these back to one node, take all these young clippings off here, and so the fruit can expand. But yeah, I'm over the moon with that for 1 year. Absolutely brilliant. And there's what geraniums. I've potted all them up there. They're outside now. They've come out the melon house, out the melon house here. Want to keep now this is nearly clear, but what's going to grow in here, I'm going to have chilies, peppers and everything in there. I've still got a few tomatoes on the top there, smaller tomatoes, but they'll probably come out. I'll drop the shelves next week, and then we'll get cracking on the oh, it's a bit of a mess in here at the moment, because as I say, I've had a load of timber to clear out. I was on this bench here where I had overwintered all the timber, and I managed to get that done and put it all outside. But that's there's branch leaks there, and there's some shore leaks along there. As I say, they're just sitting in the tunnel here. They're not doing anything. They're not going to go into any trenches or anything. But they'll be. I'll keep a couple of them for stock plants, but they'll be absolutely fantastic for soups at the end of the year. Now, look at them potatoes there. These are the Jazzy, and they're absolutely marvellous. I'm over the moon with them. And of course, we normally take the Jazzy out round about there the end of May, the May bank holiday. But I think I'm going to be digging these up a little bit early. And we have got weepy hoses in here, and I think that's the difference between these and where we had the where I've had the Winston in the far greenhouse. I think that's been the difference. But no worry, we'll sort them out later. Oh, one thing I have got to do is I've got to get these veins sorted out. Now, if you remember last year, I planted 2 black ones. Well, these are the black ones here. Well, these were the cuttings I took last year. I got 2 cuttings and I planted them in here. And that's the stems there. And there's actually grapes. I'm over the moon with them. There's actually bunches of grapes up the side here. There's 2 or 3 bunches. So I'm not going to be greedy. I'll let them grow on for a little while longer. You can see there, the tiny little bunches of grapes, little embryos there. I'm absolutely over the moon with that. Fantastic. And these are the black ones. Now this is going to have to be, as I said in the last video, this will have to be cut off. I'll use the wire enough, bend that round, and then what I'll do is I'll take a piece of timber along the top here, or just a piece of wire, and I'll start training the grapevine along there. But I'm over the moon with that. It's lovely little bunches of grapes, and these are the black ones. I got these given at the end of last year, and the lad had cut a grapevine down. He didn't know how to take the cutting, so I said, well, give me some, and I'll show you how to go about it. And I give him a couple back. But 2 black ones in there, over the moon with that. I've got all the cuttings that I took off there in there, so they're growing marvellous. It's absolutely chocker in here. I've got tomatoes in the top end there. The Corfu are up on the top, and what we're going to have to do with them, as I say, they're just sitting up on the top there, and it's going to be a bit of higgledy-piggledy this. What I should be doing is bringing me, I've got myself a new stick, a selfie stick, so I'm going to have to bring that down. Well, there's a Corfu tomatoes there, and they're absolutely romping away. They're first class. I'm over the moon with them. Well, they'll be getting planted in the bottom pulley tunnel next week, so what we'll do, we'll start the video off. We'll start the video off next week, and we'll get on with the tomatoes. As I say, I'm just busy trying to get something sorted out in this in the big tunnel here. One of these beds here is going to be dug up, because this, what I had along here, I had the black boxes, which are these ones, all recycling boxes. I had along here, and I had tomatoes in here, but there was just not enough room between this bed and the back bench. Now the back bench I want to fill with chilies and peppers. So what I'm actually doing is I'm going to take away this bed, take away the posts and the timbers, and level it out so it gives me a little bit more room. But I can put boxes along the front here and still have a wide enough pathway along there where I can work safely and get the crops at the back. At the moment it's a bit hitty-missy, but no doubt. So we've just been busy filling up some of my containers. As I say, some of the other containers I've got them filled with the beetroot and the turnips there in the bottom there. These have been sitting on this bench for about a week now, and they'll be bone dry, so I'll be tipping that compost out and mixing it and giving it a good soak before I even dream about putting it back into there. But that's where my dahlias will go into. So if they're okay next week, I think I'll start the video off with the dahlias, and then we'll go on to planting tomatoes, and then hopefully this week I'll get my carrots and my parsnips planted out, because these should have been done at the end of last month, the parsnips. Normally I like to plant at the end of March, but things have just been so higgledy-piggledy, especially with lockdown and everything else, so just put social distancing. As I say, I come up in the afternoon, Roger comes up in the morning, and we'll get our little bits and pieces done. We'll share the work in between us. But unfortunately, with the wife being the way she has been the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been possible. So Roger's been up every day, just making sure everything's great. I've come up in the evening for a half an hour and watered down, and that's all I've done. But hopefully next week we can get stuck in, and once again, with tomatoes are going to be our first class crop to start planting out. I've got lettuces ready, some small lettuce. I might plant some of them out, but there's loads to do. It's that time of the year. But as I say, just watch your temperatures, just be careful with your temperatures. Don't go crazy just because it's sunny trying to get everything planted out. Now the son phoned me from Lincolnshire, where he lives down there, and at lunchtime, and he was outside sunbathing. He says it was absolutely beautiful, burning hot, but I says up here in the northeast it's freezing. Lovely sunshine, kind of fault of sunshine, but that wind, and of course you're going to put plants out in the garden and you get a cold wind like that blowing across them. Good night Vienna, you're going to lose them. Turn them blue, give them a check, and of course when a plant's had a check, it takes so much of its energy to try and get back to growing again. 9 times out of 10 you'll never get them perfect, and you may even lose quite a few of them, because a cold spell on the plant is a disaster. So don't be in a hurry, just take your time. Spring will be here soon. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a little bit of work up here, get my plants watered, get all them brassicas on the back bench, get them outside, and then we'll go down and I'll finish this video off down home when I'm finishing putting through tomatoes in. Okay, so bye for now. Okay, well, here we are, back down home again, safe and sound. As you can see, I've managed to get the back end stripped off from the greenhouse, the bubble wrap. I like to leave the bubble wrap on the south facing wall. Reason being, once again, sunshine. Facing south, and you've got blazing sunshine on the windows all day long, and you can scald your plants, overheat them. You can put spray on the windows. It's like a whitewash. It cools the greenhouse down, and it stops the plants from getting too much sunburn. And that's why I like to leave this side on the south facing one. That's north facing, but it's letting loads of light now into the greenhouse. Now the only time I'll take the south facing wall down is in the autumn. Come September, I'll strip it all down. It means you can get the windows nice and clean before you put the whole new section of new bubble wrap up for your new season. But it's been absolutely fantastic. As I say, it's just a small tubular heater in here. That's all I've had, and of course the door's wide open here since 9:30 this morning when I come downstairs, and it's 85 in here. 85, doors wide open. Absolutely marvellous. But, I've been really busy the last couple of weeks. Like you see, I've been potting off cucumbers. The ones that grew the other week, they're just up to a lovely size now. They need potting off again. I'll move them up into a 9cm pot next week. The chilies will go into a 9cm pot. I've brought a load of stuff down, extra trays, extra pots. Compost, I keep bringing compost down so I can make compost up down here, and I can pot stuff up and take it back to the garden. It's just like a little shuttle service for me down here. It's a great way of being able to work from home without too much hassle. Tomatoes, once again, I've lost count of the amount of tomatoes I've potted up in the last fortnight. It's been absolutely amazing. I've had some brilliant crops. Now, as I mentioned before about potting off, I'm never in a hurry to pot off. You know me, I just take my time. Now there's a perfect example of that. Well, there's a wee pot of they're yellow pear tomatoes, absolutely fantastic. Nice little clusters of yellow pears, but they're a nice size and they're lovely and sweet. So I'll be growing a couple of dozen of these this year. Now, if you notice by the pot, if you don't put too many in the pot, people keep saying, well, how many seeds will I put in the pot? How many are going to grow? A standard packet of seeds, you'll get 25 to 30 seed in. Then you can split that packet into 2 small pots like that, and you'll get a perfect crop. But what I like to do with mine, you'll always find, is I've just done this pot this morning. You'll always find as you get smaller plants growing, little immature tomato plants. Now, because all of them are exactly the same size, I'll go around the pot, and any ones that's later grown and just starting to come through, I'll pull them out, and that gives the bigger ones a much better chance of growing. So just in that pot, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There's 9 tomato plants in there, and they're absolutely spot on for just the way I like them. And of course, once again, they're just going into small cups. My own compost. I'm not going to do it over there because take them out. There we have it. First class. Now them roots are at the bottom of the pot, just at the bottom of the pot. And if I break them up, just take my time. And there we have it. And that's the way I like to pot my plants off. There's a lovely little root system. You've got your true leaves, your first set of true leaves. Now a good, I keep saying this, a good sign of a good tomato plant. If you're just buying tomato plants in, check to see if the seedling leaves are there. If the seedling leaves are there, then the plant's been grown correctly. And then all you have to do is put it in. Of course, if you think your plant's going to be a bit leggy, put it in the pot where you want it. Down to the depth that you think it's, press it in, and there we have it. Perfect tomato plant. Well, that'll grow away just nice, as long as you get plenty of light. Now that's one of the other reasons I like to take the bubble wrap down in April, is to let full light through. But as I say, I'm keeping this outside and I'm just cutting down on that glare. It's absolutely baking here. Beautiful afternoon. But it's perfect for me to have the door open and just stand here and do a little bit of potting on. So that's what I'm going to be busy with this afternoon. I've got about a dozen and a half yellow tons to pot up. I'll get them done, get them in that trays. Now these are the ones I did this morning. These are the giant Spanish. And there we have them. The water's dripping over the bottom, as you can see, because these trays here, there are no holes in them, and that's what I like to use. My plants go in there, the water goes into the tray, and the plants soak it up. If you get a good compost like mine, homemade compost, plenty of grit in, plenty of perlite, bit of bone meal, and it's a fantastic mix. Just acts like a sponge. It'll take it off, but it'll take as much water up as the pot needs, and that's the whole idea of it. But yeah, I'm going to be cracking on here for an hour before I go for my tea. But I've made a couple of stones of cucumbers again, and of course the old favourite, the Telegraph, and that's the Telegraph, and I think that's the Diva. That's a Telegraph improved. Yeah, and that's a La Diva. I've grown that for years. It's only a small cucumber. I'm saying small, about 6 to 9 inches. It's absolutely fantastic. Great for growing in a cold polytunnel. So it's La Diva and Telegraph. Easy to grow, but give them a bit of moisture under there, and of course water from down below. And you find with cucumbers, it's just one of them traits that that the family's got. Don't like a lot of water around their necks, filling up with neck rot. But it's just a few tips for you. As I say, I'm going to plod on, work my way through these yellow pear. Few new subscribers coming on in again. Once again, I'm over the moon with that. I'm glad you're getting a little bit of interest from my channel. I'm glad we're helping a few people out. As I say, I'm always busy on my Facebook page. Always people asking questions. Want to know this, that and the other, and it's fine, it's great. Give her a bell, send her a message if we can help you. If we can't, I'm sure there's somebody on our site that will. Or the site's getting bigger every week, so I'm over the moon with that. As I say, we'll try and keep you updated with videos as much as we can this year. As I say, it's been very challenging for us this year. We've got off to a really good start in January and February. Once I got myself free of all the implants and the bits and pieces that I've had done to my legs over the last 3 years. But I thought we were going to have a great, fantastic season, and unfortunately this coronavirus has just put the mockers on that. But we're still growing. No doubt nothing will be getting shown this year, but we're still growing. We'll still be planting and we'll still be cropping. But next year, or next week I should say, we'll get over the back there and I'll start my video off with the nettles. Because I've been out there this morning, just had a check, and of course the nettle crops are just starting to grow nicely. I've brought a couple of garlics down from the garden, a couple of old cloves of sachet, so I'm going to crush them up. I might even make a little video at the beginning of the week if the missus lets us make one in the house. If not, I'll have to go down to the garage again, because it does stink, the garlic spray. And of course the nettle juice is even worse, but I'll make it up the garden and I'll show you how to do that. As long as you've got enough heat in your barrel, just some nice warm water, you get the fermentation going. As I say, April, May is about the perfect time. You can't do it in the winter because you haven't got the heat. But April and May, the weather's starting to warm. If you've got a nice barrel of water in the greenhouse, or somewhere sheltered in the garden where the sun's hitting it, and you get great fermentation, and you can make yourself a great nettle juice, a nice healthy feed for the crops. And that's what we like. If we can go organic, if we can use organic, we will do. Far better than using chemicals. But yeah, well, that's it for another video. As I say, I'm glad there are a few people watching. I'm glad you're enjoying the show and getting a little bit of help from what we're doing. Until next week, that's it. Keep on watching, keep on enjoying, and keep on enjoying your plot. Okay, we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.